Mahama enti mi fa board me gugu tem enti ba mo fa brem e ma president Akufo-Addo ana e papa Mahama enti yan Ghana for no ya so oden si soldier for emu o man no Rawlings e de helicopter na mala adwa se mebu kromu ha mfanya hwedifo amanfo di Rawlings atem.
We've been hit by tragedy. It is a tragedy for all of Ghana. It's a dead body that has yet to be picked up.
How can this be possible?
Disasters will always come. It is how prepared you are.
Establishment of gold board. It is not fighting illegal mining. It is financing it.
Yen samay fo nyina kwaba ebiem emra dwumadi asu asanso tanase ensem bebre ene koso e oman Ghana mu a yade ni nyina ebre aifo after se Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia ekopie mu ewo area sa ensuo yiriye ewo enkan pumpuni mantem no enkomo akofa ba na busua sawani ensese me ena me kacho Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia ko din komo mi na san komo no ena akotwetwe ensem bebre ede aba but then His Excellency John Dramani Mahama enena ban omo hwese bibia ebe totoyie na womo ye affected no obi aho ato na afi no bibia aye kama enena nam so ama minority no MPP na babonten se womo ntiase ede enti ena womo di san komo no wodi komo ama galamse won sensem ena afi good board aba be piem quick one ebe borrow na afi no ya din komanti enensam no doso baransana no yenko this video emra as timamufo no ekasa ebi mu blame aban no ebi mu so blame timamufo no baran yenko na yentie nsam a sa timamuni wei ede atodwa din komo ama JJ Rawlings din aba be piem quick one yenko mra ne koba abusua ensam ho pa
me ba cho Ghana man Ghana wiase afa na nyina no be ba aladwa 92 na misa na me yakwala 13 years na ba aladwa be horo kana me de driver kwa Rawlings e de helicopter na mala adwa se mebu kromu ha mfanya hwedifo amanfo di Rawlings atem ye me hu aladwa ne se e bora Ghana ha bola Rawlings kwa me ya papa Kufuor enti mi fa bora me gugu atem me kan kura Mahama enti mi fa bora me gugu atem MP fa bora me gugu atem me kan kura asema na kan wow enti yan Ghana for no ya so oden si soldier for emu o man no na soldier for hwe so obi efi ametim memede o kan o kawi asema kan kura me de border to gotem da meyere ba bi ameti efi ofo nyina to border gu aladwo ha obi gota we ya eti he fa na wo de border no ekogu na he fa na enko ebe kwan sebe choki obi yesi edan wa aha yesi dan aha gota be fa enso o sikanti wakotu esika ma ohene wa fere enti so ne to ohene be fa eti ba mo fa brem e ma president Akufo-Addo ana e papa Mahama omo nya hwe eti masema no se Ghana for no border na ye tugu eni na man suo to a yiri fa yen what I say eti masema no eno kura ba ko yes ti mamufo ne kan ye ne yaman suo ne yiri fa yen Mahama nkan Bawumia nkan Akufo-Addo nkan eti mamufo eni ya to border ene suo ne yiri yen eti yan se san ya dwen me jina we America ma to border tu gotem me ya tro driver manfo tro wo furu ahema na chen 2 o'clock 3 o'clock obo nse ne yamasi me fi se sika me kofa me ko na e bola enti bola me fa me de be kwan me de tu gotani enso ni yiri ahemfa na be ko e ba be choki wo dan enti ti mamufo no ya ne ye enti me ya papa Mahama mo obi a 1 cedi mo obi a 1 cedi mo obi a 1 cedi ya ti mamufo ne ye me ko ma tu bola gu gotam me yira tu me yire ti bi gum me fie aladwa obi ani wo de onfa bora engu gotam eti ya papa Mahama mo obi a 1 cedi
okay commander
Yeah, Director.
and then some no doso baransana no
Yeah.
I timamuni a okasa ye akati attention Ghana for a din komo also one day obeple mu ya yankase kan ho because Ghana for ye nsuban no ano din but then I am nwanwa say obi te Ghana obeda sa suba we nyina di no to bola egu nsuom but then obedu kwa kopiem e wa brochire onkoda sa suban na di
Dabi. Director, I am very simple. Yen ya ye hu nkrofobia. Odwene ye hu a onte ase. Okoduru ba bia, obedi mra so. O krom ha mra no oni so da.
Oh,
bibia ni wo obeka obete.
Na bola no wan na kacha o mo se ye to bola gu nsuom.
Director, because nsuo ne de beko. se odi ball no ebe kwa akotue sika no eni odi ku nsuo ma ensuo ne betwen ko on
sika
they doesn't care baby a eko any problem a ebe ko so right me ka da bia say ye adwin ya grow within a very short time kuri be yi
at the end ensuo yiri be fa ye fia na ye blame John Mahama say John Mahama ba within 1 year ya no o mu man ni ye adan ya ensuo ba be fa ye fie
right so the ntia me say yen problem ya ye wo man ni especially nsuo yiri no right ye de on be say 80% and political class any aban adwumafo engineers no omunsi de om 20% any say problem no over the years any create but they create a almost ntimi solve
dabi
enti omo major role so mu play but yen as main creators no yen ne yakoso ade no right say you ye hofo a adwuma no be fo de amaye we should forget about politicians no omo de yenim say omo ye kokwasa de ye penenye no omo ye omo ye omo nema in their own interest right ye be ka omo asem
but then adana empanifo no omo enforce ye omo mambra ne nchichire because omo makwa tena brochi okay brochi for no bi so o wa omo wa brochi omo di mbra no so all right but omo be pie mu organa ai asase na danso kra obeto
ereta mo uni say obi wa brochi obogafo bebra ni fi a wo si mukoye adwuma mana soka we na ensuo no ebe fam no o se soka we o munle pipe no to street ni but oye abrochre ni menkasa ya abrochre fo nyina da bi but ye o few abrochre fo a e hore de odi mra so but obeduru ha o se fie na wo lay pipe to street ni na nsuo na o use o fie ho no na epie street ni adwaye nsuo nyina na epie botimi to soka we e wo fence wo na chi a e street no na wakoto soka we ni wo ho Rata enti yakwa nipa bi a ekrom han ye nimra so but ye free hard ya ye gitim se mra ye adwuma oba bi rata se yanse se suba ye moaye otie papa ni nkomo na o se alajo ni mpotem ho no o kai se in the 90s JJ Rawlings ba ho no se e ho nyina ye nsuo eni se ye si dan dabi yemfa ho nwie di ahwede ne ade se de bi nsuo ni benya kwan na aflow rata ebesi nne yantie
enkofo bi be sori akase JJ Rawlings na oha adwio JJ ha adwio enso enhihye nka JJ di gu akwam no I think say no na nka bebo man Ghana
mo nti I bet you say ka JJ Rawlings edi sojafo ekọ alajo na wo a waton asase bia wo hene ne ya chew ne ya bu ne ya tu ade so wo a wakoto a wusi ye kana wanti a ne ya bu ne ya sai wo niema ne ya ebu dan tugu a anka enne aya semeda ho say JJ ni pabone ni obabu ye maame ne ye papa ne nananom e wo nkran omo asase o mato musika to o difiri o munsem anka ne sa story ne da ho ya amanfo e de ye propaganda tia no but oja mu say okay samusi mo besia ye nyai mo na munye de mo pe no enne problem ye te hun let us say politicians no amamra na anya adwuma ho be kire ye because district no omo ye adwuma various districts no rather omo no ye major problem after ye intimamufu because omo no omo supervising mampani ni ti ni office parliamentarian not in office rather aye no kure omo no omo ni sha wo munsa na mom omo nso apone mra no e de ma district executives ni civil servants ni say omo mamra ni nya adwuma but engineer ne kwa no waje 1000 Ghana no ofie because the what asase ni susu say ni 100,000 or the to asase no onya asase ni ma ne nka obesi injobe pesika ma engineer no na engineer na jana manasi na okọ but at the end of the day problem ne ba na dmofo be kwa kopesika eni aduane ne aba be chede ma wo na etwe oman ni kwa tire
o kasa no se enye dwomama bia enye ainana do dan kwakufu adu bia enye Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia bia ne mom yankasa ono ankasa de ne ho aka ho so ono ko timi fa nwura ni no akoto agunsuo nim
ereta wonim sekiye nyina ye beye nokrefo te se de papa yi kan ya reta ka kro ne beye utie ne nkomo na o se one ne yiri nyina ye bi efia wotimo obi aye bi ereta enti enei o se hwe na aban ntwa one city amom because o ka ho no wa create problem problem ami ama create na hu effect abame so o si obi nsa metua mpatasika ma mpatasika for why na obi a we use na adwen o de mra ye adwuma ya wotia tax na ye de tax na go say dear you chrome quite mano. Yeah, this hospital man no. Near the side tax ni ba betray compensation. Yeah, the tax ni ba be ma say Jeffatu because ufi asay.
Me say the mama I within a year 2028 year no. President kwa kwajiwa home. Enti mampani wo de say Ghana for betia so mo ntia so. Yes adwuma we. Ai wo mo tinsuo bia. Ninkan pumpuni mantemo.
Of course.
One more to get us home, one more to show no. But one year enforce. One a bit a soldier for not one two be free.
Director, very simple. Abani making sure say you better be a free. But problem in the sense see a baby agent you. And nay creative problem no. So Abani see or two omuna I am telling you Ghana or more things so much you see a 2 ma. You better ni pa over 300,000. They say ye 2 ma at one more quarter babe. And yes, they say problem no. Abani nya obe 2 mo. Who 2 ma die be mo na ade omoko. I
me video bi ana NDC ni journalist when ba ban
yeah.
Yes, no cassette. Or why affected. Na all blast or no one cassa buying who say a dear na buying ye, woman tia buying cat, woman pescabi.
And she had you.
And I make us Nasa dear see within 1 day, 2 days here, na dear easy. And Jeffrey, maybe a buying yes, about or more affected, maybe a buying about Musca cradi. I have you. And no crown Ghana for me say. More,
Sikana e de be ma omo no yemfa mpa baabi mo omo nkoda aban ne mpa temporary shelter bi na yemfa nipa na o maye affected nkogu mi go se wonya baabi na enye sika na o se de ma baabi na o se pema woda na ye de omo kogu na omo da na aban ne efidi omo kakra na sika na ke de be compensate omo no yemfa se sika ne demolition exercise na yemfa mubu dan ne nyina wo nso no ho ye wia Robert no kra saglame project no yemfa sa sika no enko wie saglame na yemfa dan ne mo rent no mo kotenam enti so mo ni sika mpo a Robert yemfa ma mo se bia for the first 3 months 6 months dey untua rent but after that no after why stable na what rent yentimi ntam sika ma woni as a journalist ya wonim se enei problem na nya ban na koso ye
28 on meto betia ndisi aban
I am telling you se nei o mo nyina to betia ndisi aban na in 2032 ye kwoto aba na nzu anyira mfa obi a aban no will come back.
Okay.
Said in 2016 aban ne ka say on tria nursing training allowances.
Okay.
On teacher training allowances. Ye o moto abati ano no. But in 2024 they realized they did a mistake. And o mo de ne bae. The political class no mo man no solve problem we. Because ye in Ghana for ne de ye nya ya adwun se be solve problem.
Okay. Quick one, you call this video. Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia can who be na asemo. Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia dinkumo bi Ghana for to German. Minim di entia. Adi entimra.
We've been hit by tragedy, and this is a tragedy for all of Ghana. It isn't a tragedy just for Accra or here in Botiano English where I'm from. It is a tragedy for all of Ghana. And the flooding, as we have seen, has caused a lot of damage. We've lost lives. In fact, as I have arrived here, I'm told that there is a dead body that has yet to be picked up. We are calling on the authorities, NADMO and the police to come together and make sure that the dead body is picked up. It's really unbelievable that it hasn't been done since yesterday. And I plead with the police and NADMO to come together to pick up this dead body. And I think that is just something that has to be done without anything. But I think
Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia ekopie mu ewo areas affected no na me usa among for post video no ewo tentamfidie no so mo chem say Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia and His Excellency John Dramani Mahama difference ewo mampani koye no otesoro na also be but Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia si form na also be na me usa nkrofo na me say na dem mo ase ai Montegana na ana way politics na mo ye opposition party there so waka so won fa ne konkra nwo ho a the way Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia say desperate for power no oka se onu nko me fa ne se onko sinsuo ni bi na nsuo no fa no nkokro be yo entinya sa abadwoma ama no onu na sisi na de so ade dan so edi okotesoro a na wanya botre asove ade ni ye yam cho what ase but we about me anam for me say on timi sove ba bia yi
just one area no ko ye erata enei
eno enkomo no wo di se ai obi ewuda ho within 2 hours or say ade
24 hours odaso da ho tie na asem na
how can this be possible
o say obaye no obeti say I told say ko be ka say obaye no obehu say wan hu funu no but o say obeti say obi egu
na video no me hu no TikTok no the way Ghana for see bash Bawumia no Ghana for say I as Bawumia desperate for power. How can this be possible? Say, obi na ni nipa na busuan for say bi nsuo kra na de na ba beto ho a na wo ma yi wo mani so mo mefa.
I am telling you say ensi jasa Ghana ha obi ewu say ye nsuo say ye den na ade chi na obi ewu ada bontin na Ghana temamufo be yi wo mani atwe wo mo ho na funu na da ho 24 hours wa bra ye nya hu bibi Ghana fo be frɛ Ghana Police Service amoma be pick funu say ka saje we nko a me to check the Ghana Police Service o frɛ wo mo say obi ewu da ha I am telling you any 2-3 hours on the back and the director in this situation ensuo nsha say eyire no enipa nsuo no se bi age wo mo kwan fro mo nsem bia se wa hwa timamufo na nkasa timi wura nsuom enye de oda fom o de o se nsuom timamufo na adware koyi funu no edi funu no ekọ director how much more say de wawu da fom na ye say 24 hours efunu na so da ho na ne doctor Mahmoud Bamiana ne mpanifo na omo koye no omo nkasa na omo ntimi mfra police omo mefa
eti mo Ghana for mo pa chese entro na Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia echa na
erata unim se okoye no na dwi nyina ne se yenkoye politics yenko kan bibi mo obi hu se aban no ommo ne homoden na entidie betima kan ma na ye dane se enipa kura wu funu no kura o man faida ho erata because nkoma awudi se wu kodru ho na mu se efunu da ho ayemfa aye in 24 hours efunu no kura bi e be sha ase ase ya the first na be ne se una na wo ye head of Ghana Police Council and you have access to Ghana Police Service in Pennyfonia. You call Ghana Police Service, say BBC na wahamo mefa. Obe friend nadmufo, na nadmufo abefa as penny here wadi vice president. Open man penny di. Rata enti one who say I was offer security agencies. Name Camrem and na obe jina ka say security agencies no say na ekoso enti omuntu wana mo just like that. No phone call.
O say enye na dwuma oni aban mu.
Irata enye na dwum sa na timamufo na amanfo awu a omusi nso mu yi omo na ye omo adwuma Irata oni aban mu dia wonto na fie enye hate speech ena mema but say oni aban mu na okona ontimi support obi ade a ene okoye den Irata okoye no ugidi se die ntina Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia akoye
o se okona amanfo se okona akoye se ai asamto ye no Bawumia bae se da be 28 wa win election easy
enti se asem to me na wodi wani na eba behwe keke na ontimi muame asem to me ma the Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia kwa okoye eye sa pepepe okoye se otina bi okoye campaigner obeka sinso yiri fa mo me bae para asem ni se obae obeye den ebeta ontimi ma na omema political speech na unkofie na you expect to say yentu ni wachi me kai say Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia only one practical solution to your problems okoye no oti de okan
say
ebeta o say problem ya bai aban ni hwe no ntu ho anamo Ghana Police Service for anhwe na efunu ni ade omo mefa ebeta oti say all my solution he doesn't have a solution only solution enya afi ni abedi san komo
o say MPP time o mu twa sika bi tu ho
ebeta wo boa me eye say wakai me in 2015 ene nso yiri kese ba Ghana etwa mu no NPP take over in 2017 no ebeta o mu decide ye say parliament emma ye kwan na yenkwaji besia yenkopɛ sika ne mfa mesolve flood a ekoso Accra ebeta from 2017 ebesi MPP be fra ban mu no yekwaji sika ewo World Bank na sika dodo a ye spend ye parliament approve ye no eye over $300 million ene yekwaji ye that time na exchange rate in rata and then around 14-15 and you get over $300 million and you say you the sikano eba be ma Accra flood issue no etwa enti me bi say $300 $300 million no dear adwuma de ye wa Accra e ma enei enso ntimi nyire wa Accra biem but nti se me tise MPP ni be gina say Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia ba obesolve problem na ye de $300 million ma omo e ka ho bi na nana to decide ye say said ye efi adokra kra said ye gates aye choke said ye nso ni yiri no ye ministry be frɛ no Ministry of Sanitation e che say ahonidie nko ministry under MPP administration any this Cecilia Abnada pa to ano any time say sika na de man say onfa nya adwuma be no ye omutwa 8 years ye no enso no gusu yiri Cecilia Abnada pa ebesi ne ontimi nya accounts e magana for say sika na wo gye ye no adwuma we ni no de ye
eno so na Ghana for di hunkomo no director mo se ne adwo mama so and find ways and means bi na on physical twitwiri die and solve this problem once and for all
director wini ye gitum say President Mama said yes, say, Obepe Sikadia solve problem. But Massam say, Saoje 300 million Saudi solve. Now uko disikano, one fine yajuma. Now you expect to say, me nani magician. Na mean solve problem no with Manu Asem Keka ebeda yi.
Obo say, I opa ma emra bonti se say, abana twesikabi ade ba be solve sa problem na. MP for the minority for the ba press conference. A condemn say sikano do so no do.
Ombeka se sikane doso aban ni ba bedi ye ncheni ene omo ba be but asem ni say mo je 300 million ehye no se ka mo ma 300 million useful ena mo solve half of the problem ene ka half a eneyi mi gidi say anka aban no obaye no se ontimi nya hwempo a anka damage no enuru bebi eduru ye but ma je sikane di you expect to say aban no onkope sika na emom no sikane kura onkope no e mane no so nuru mo de no but on solve problem no me jetum aban also solve problem eno ka hu bi ne de ne baaye ye nim say Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia ni nana don Kufuado all ntimi solve we knew it enti say aban na bana problem na ba they should find ways and means na omon solve
quick one afeno makin din ko baransa na no Muntaka Mubarak interior minister ne nsema akochem say US nyina ebisi na ense free say JJ Penso 1990s money ayi mo no akwakoba say this time na nsu atopa diwe na jinsem quick one wo de entie ne nsem na ne yakoba nsem achi pa.
Disasters will always come. It is how prepared you are that will determine the minimum the amount of loss that may be occurred. Because Mr. Speaker, today, and I'm saying it not to water down the effect, but just to draw all of us attention that America is the richest country in the world. And one of its richest states is California. California state is the richest state in America. In fact, standing on its own, is the sixth largest economy in the world. Yet they had disaster and people lost their life. But they have all the money, they have all the measures. We are not using this as an excuse. Water will always come, but we must do what we can as people. And we are looking at this as a whole of government and a whole of society approach. We are looking at it as a whole of government and a whole of society approach, where individuals will have to take their responsibility, assemblies have to take their responsibility, those of us in government will have to take our responsibility and work very hard to ensure that we do not lose life unnecessarily. Mr. Speaker, in the nutshell, to say that this was something that was a difficulty for us as a country. I must admit, Your Excellency, Mr. Speaker, if you look at the statistics that we received from the Ghana Meteorological Agency, it clearly states that in the month of June, we normally expect a lot of rains. But what happened yesterday gave us 169.2 millimeters of water. And this is the fourth largest volume of water in a day since 1995. And for the month of June, we had a total in month of June of 593.2 millimeters of water. And Mr. Speaker, is the highest our country has ever received in its history in 1 month. 593.2. The closest was in 2002, and that was 420.6 millimeters. And the other one was 2015, 380.3 millimeters. And these statistics, Mr. Speaker, I'll make it available for the House.
Muntaka Mubarak.
Okay.
Also, this year, Insuana Atono, and say a chain de Bia. Aven so Nasmo cancer, US Nina Ebisino, Ghana for be Tuja Emano, but then, since I you one more follow football, Barcelona. I think the last year.
Yeah.
And so to Barcelona.
Of course, and so to you.
Jabro change
Erata, yeka. There were major countries here, AC, US, they are okay. I see Florida, I see several times.
Oh, yeah.
And yeah, few in Kwan, I say, Afras and Kwan is US. It has been happening.
Yeah.
Erata nan say Venezuela, at Torrente Massassi.
Oh, yeah.
And this is not something new. Ninkoma Wodi, me who bonibi or can on can say a problem ness in a yanoma, say, yan solve.
Yeah.
Or say problem, I was a solve. Nemum dia all catch na yeni say ye nyabotre na problem we no enye bibia na yesika US for we sika chen obi a wo wiase US develop chen obi a wo wiase but omumpo the same problem they are facing it and say ye face ya obi adwen so e na aban no onkope sika mesolve the better it goes beyond sika nkomo ayedi the better a lot of factors ehia adwen any tough decision making enye sika nko a ubenya sika all right but a toda bia adanya ubebu be bu adanya hu de wo mpotem ho nyina to but it doesn't work that way. I was what nase na o find ways and means na o dey solve this problem because I can sika said the all kind anka sa amaya kese ti Spain US no anka ento wo mo but ato wo mo right baby nkomo ne ehia me panie sempanifo ne sha se gitum say omum panifo no they have a role to play. Yeah, you work from so road to play. But when a mammy GDA say problem, no yati problem na say. Say problem ba. Na opesa solve wa. The first major issue you say, I just say what problem na say. One T problem na say what mean solve. And then penifo na jet to me say problem no eye yen timamufo no. Any or mumienu and ya create problem no and your politics ever say oh problem na ba your best of it is a political talk na first problem ba na say omo dey tete
and some man for can say I say domama one na ban woman to niema yi and amasa to renchem we ato oman Ghana but then amuntaka chem say ade we no I say unexpected ebi kran she dan si sada enti akwa se obua wo ho epim baabi yem twa what ase enti unexpected na bia ase bibiba na ebro so a enden and problem be baba yes
erata winning to say ye kan ye kan a natural issue and to say the okay according to Ghana Meteo for no efi omo records mu Busomi bien wa enso atode anu odin akese echen afiwe die no enti even in the previous times Antoine say no say nya problem we should understand say the possibilities of benya problem are very high say etoye over 300 millimeters ne ho ahwan na say nya problem eni ekoduru over 500 getting to 600 automatically benya problem the rest ena enye na problems ne sha ase say what tie nkomo a odi any okenkan about flood in Ghana in the 50s flood eba Ghana and say in the 50s impo enipa ne nye choke area na moso yen shedan sisi da wo so because asase no nipa ni sha asase ne somaye no eno mpunso yiri fa nipa dia ene ya boso ya doso dodo na yesi na wo nso ho na yenni ye huni no e dey na opese si but one major issue no problem we are solving say I just say your team penifo na say yen be play role am ya solve problem no say be tumi a the rata ahemfo wo Ghana nyina any abaning kamom na every Sunday the rata yen clean up exercise so Ghana kro bia so it should be mandatory by force say every Sunday say we Ghana ni nko a e wo say upie wo mpatamu na e clean up exercise titi gatam fi na yesan so shamra imodin say obi ntimi enko so sa refuse dumping no because anyesa the next 4 years another minister obesa kojina parliament ono so besa akaka say e unfortunate say ade we yesasi bi na yeda so ti problem no ho sike was a ministry no omudi e bi wonim say interior ministry any ministry of works and housing sika dodo a ya allocate di ama wo mo in 2026 no automatically flood we ya bai age say akope emergency funds e dey say sika ne be kan wo mo ho but problem ne maaye no e no mo ka say o mo hia say sika na sika ni ho but say see ya force wa ko create problem yes sika ke de be boy ho bra e de be bibi bepa no ye de say sika no emum e ko ye clean up ye de say sika no kwatete gatam ye kwatete ateche na say sika no ko waste. Brother, we cannot continue suffering this way. Ye nyintum say problem na ba. Ye mfa blame ni nkoma aban we. Aban we ma ye no. Na problem no ho dada. Brother, even muntaka wo ka say ye nwo no no na nsuo yiri o Ghana. Enei baby e wo benyina dun so da so yiri. Say ya ante ye ho ase na ye ne aban na nka moma nso ovu a. Muntaka be wu akọ. President Mahama be wu akọ. Ye be wu problem na better so da ho. We need to set up na ye solve problem no.
Yesterday,
Yesterday's flooding is the clearest evidence that this task force produced no meaningful intervention on the ground. If serious drainage works, the silting or flood mitigation infrastructure had been undertaken, the impact of the rains, however heavy, would have been measurably reduced. Instead, entire neighborhoods went underwater, exposing the gap between government rhetoric and government delivery. The minority is calling on this House to establish a parliamentary committee specifically mandated to investigate the conduct of the Flood Preparedness Task Force and the relevant government ministries and agencies in the lead up to this disaster. That inquiry must establish what work, if any, the task force undertook since its establishment, what funds were allocated to it, and how they were spent, what specific mitigation measures were planned and implemented, and why none of this prevented or meaningfully reduced the impact of foreseeable seasonal flooding. Those found responsible for negligence or dereliction of duty must be held accountable. Pending the outcome of this inquiry, the minority demands that all members of the task force step aside from their roles. This is not a presumption of guilt. It is a basic standard accountability that any institution facing serious questions over its conduct should observe, so that the investigation can proceed without interference and so that those under scrutiny are not left to oversee the very response to a crisis their own inaction may have worsened. Far from confronting this crisis, government policy has entrenched it. The Bank of Ghana's Go for Reserves program and the establishment of Gold Board as both regulator and the dominant commercial buyer for gold have created a structure in which the state itself has become guaranteed market for gold of uncertain origin, including credible voices both within and outside Parliament have warned gold sourced from illegal operations. When the body charged with sanitizing the gold trade cannot reliably distinguish legally mined gold from galamsey gold, and yet continues to expand its purchasing target, it is not fighting illegal mining, it is financing it. This is not a side issue to the flooding crisis. Illegal mining destroys the very watersheds, wetlands, and river systems that would otherwise absorb and channel rainfall away from our cities and farmlands. A government that subsidizes the destruction of these natural defenses with one hand cannot credibly claim with the other that this year's flooding was simply an act of nature. The minority holds the government fully accountable for galamsey policy that, contrary to its own campaign promise, is compounding the very disaster.
Minority leader afanyoma ken wa leading minority no ama wo ma ba be din komo baran minority na say de ebesi bia no o me ba be ho press conference
of course
na wa din komo wa chem say ai anti flood task force no yemu no konfaso bia ni so o ma nya duma papa bia na ba bia ase me ye shock kakra gal ayi asem odi ba mu
good board
asem odi ba mu
okay
na we de good board e fa ho be
the writer is starting free gold board ne
plan. Free way.
afenyo marking any minority ne say enso ya eyiri illegal mining activities eka ho mene ne ya adwen nemom aside to us what mu say gold board na promote galamsey adan gold board gold no moto no omo ntimi mu say we galamsey for gold na we legal mining for gold enko no mu promote
yenya de bi was yenya calculations bi wa ha enti enkomo afenyo marking AD MPP time and this time what the iPhone JJ de hin na ye osi gold board na promote galamsey first no na illegal miners no wo mu to gold na wamwa na koton omu small gold no koton wa blochi o
of course
eri chama untumi so me uni tabi bi o kase otimi koton bu o China otimi koton bu o UK
of course
on tax bia o etin kan no China fo na be ba ha no mo na no mtuto gold o omu tua ho tax bia no mo dia small gold ko no mo koton no mo agiscan de gu omotom ena do mama ba betena konwa no so ena what gold board sabe jalfimu ena o mo ansa na obeton gold no untimi small gold every Ghana enko aizo obeton gold ni nyina ma gold board na ai oman Ghana yakwa koton na ye nya so mfaso and the taxes bebre no ye betime nya bi di akekere oman no and this time no tu no de he na ye
erata assembly nyina no minimum say ahwefo ewo fair idea of this and omobe pass judgment
ni mi de he na ye
erata say ye tu no obi akoto agiska ugu no botu any ye tracking will be an ya to gold no na ya gi sika na gu ye botom the rata o say my yen sika na nye economy ni ye e my yen sika na nye omani ye onim say gold board nko sika omodi ama anti galamsey tax force soldier for na eko galamsey no sika gold board e di ama wo say omunyi emfa moa omumfidi omuhia any fuel ombeto any operations to fight against illegal mining no e more than sika MP before the galamsey pa and the other catcher say gold board for na promote to galamsey the same gold board no we sika dia masoja for say omumfa chase illegal miners na omunchi wo mo you are telling me say omu na omu promote
na no ikra no memfa say me fa say land na amanfo galamsey fo ase no no omu retrieve land ni bi like omu kwakọ yesu yiye land no asaba back said man na gold board ayo
no it is o wie gold board ato gold am man no emfa so na omu anya na ebekọ gold board ho no gold board side sika no siesie asase na NPP time amanfo say no but you cannot tell me say asase na nei gold board akọ so no ya afi o ya na etu sa galamsey no samra boy nso a ayire no chama untumi ko say forest no allegedly essay enso ni kwan a enso ni nya baabi mfo a ebu fa so ba krom no e gold board ne go tu ye gold board na suma chama untumi say over contaminating enko samra boy ho omo ye ko che omo so omo tu gold wo ho a eye illegal bi so omo say when na de omo ba ye omo say chama untumi na de omo ba ye esa ma omo video no e gold board na to video ma omo that you cannot come out na all ba be propaganda all because gold board is the backbone of this government MP before to say gold board at once so perform very well said you may perform here it will keep MPP in opposition for so many years and until omo nkomo bia gold board adie chi bia gold board omo try say omo the gold board over from okaya Bank of Ghana ni gold board in sense semni IMF from beka say gold board ato gold aboka yeah Bank of Ghana ni gold board beka say nyo nokre ye omo so mbam ye hu nokre no say what you want say biem yabi say ye nokre say Bank of Ghana ni gold board mum na adi nsem hunu a kebesi ne can people ni minority for no and come the fact ni be babonten ka asem with a scandal
ka ombe ho adwuma pa
ombe ka say scandal but ebesi ne want ho asem biem they always try say omo be create something e be gu aban ni man say but omo create a emfa
na ntigalamsey no ema we ba na
Erata, I agree. Mimi jitu mi say enya krade no akra yentu gold ho. Yentu galamsey wa.
O say ensuo no so de kobo mu onkan.
Erata, I agree. But the entire American is say in Western region. Erata tisa samra boy eye galamsey na akoso. Western region baby a obemu say ensuo ni yiri na nso hwe ya. Even in Ashanti region manso ni mpatamu na ensuo timi yiri fa kwan no as a result of illegal mining. But as somebody say this mining communities no enya afuwe na ye hyase dabi awo for so many years before NPP grab power no na yetu NPP ba power yetu ya ma Professor Frimpo Boate beka say party here sika enti omache osunado e kan bi se omoche galamsey site no e wo mampani atena ye e propose asase kura ma wono in the eastern region and I reject ye enti se nei e hunsunso aso aba ye mfa nkobo hon de oche asase no e wo mampani atena ye e ma party for ni nyina akoye bi no omo na o se de sobo no bo omo ye hu se okatache afrifa in 2024 okutetuo edinam ejoso ne mpotemu edna fidwase ednam illegal mining site echi China for na nya MPP time what are you telling me baby omodu omonkomo no ko ne yin ntum na okay ya so ehwa na wure mo director o say anti flood committee no yengu no o ma anya adwuma o ma sa entie mo bia nkotena fie director no kra ne nya menim ni say committee na ye momo necessary requirement bi omuhia support to be aba na omantima anya adwuma I agree say o se gu no but yet committee wey in March 2025 ye see March and our president mama hu say ansha ensuo be yiri enti yenti committee because ensuo yiri da bia na committee ne ensha say engage omo onim die wo ensuo ho engineers ni ade na ye ni omuni nkomo na ye nhwe de beye committee no is less than 3 months enti engagement mpo omu wie committee no eni ho say e ya afi we nko nsuo na committee ni ba be solve but committee no ho say omu be ye engagement normal practical solutions na ya solve ya nya long term solutions enya bosume ba ku solution eni so betona be ka say bosume ba ku nsuo yiri committee ye just 3 months old Oma ntima solve enjete sade a yenwunu na obi ankotena fi a problem no hwan na be solve the right NP before beto say problem ne da ho na mi bisa say enti omo baaye no oma ntu ho anamo bia omo tu ho anamo but omo tu ho anamo no in 8 years amfanfa so amba enei eni anamo omo tu ye eni sika bia ye spend ye e wo ho bia no ye nyi sika because was so ama so sika bia MPP spend ye e wo flooding issue ho no e wo say discount back because omo spend ye no ye nya resource if they think say committee e just 3 months omo my resource enti yengu ne dia eni omo so de no the better we should get the money back but eno nkyere say committee no omo for omo san show go to na omo transi they should work
quick one ye de si e ko but ene be so be sie ya kai fo nyina